All right. I'd like to call the November 14th, 2022 meeting, agenda action meeting of the East Brunswick Township Council to order. Would everyone please stand for salute to the flag, and also remain standing for a moment of silence for Mr. Baker's mother-in-law and Mr. Lonsky's mother-in-law. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Luffel, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Here.
Councilman McAvoy?
Here.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Here.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Here.
And Council President Wendell.
Here.
Also present, Mayor Brad Cohen.
Here.
Administrator Joseph Crispillo.
Here.
Township Attorney Michael Baker.
Here.
And Deputy Clerk Lauren Morris.
Thank you.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, by specifying the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda, by posting a copy on the bulletin board located in the main lobby of the East Brunswick Municipal Building, providing a copy to the Home News Tribune and Sentinel newspapers, posting a copy on the Township's website, and by filing a copy in the office of the Township Clerk, which will be entered into the minutes.
Thank you. I want to correct myself. This is November 28th meeting. I believe I stated November 14th. So just want to correct myself. First item of business is Resolution 17542, a resolution adopting meeting minutes for November 14th, 2022.
So moved. Second.
Moved by who? Councilwoman Sullivan, and seconded by Council Vice President McAvoy. I was getting there.
It's getting there.
Yeah, it's on my tongue. Please call the roll.
Councilman Hall?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan? Yes. Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell.
Since I wasn't here, I will abstain.
Okay.
We have a number of ordinances on tonight. We have ordinance 22-21, an ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, amending ordinance 2135, fixing the grades, classifications, and grades, and compensation of employees of the Township of East Brunswick, covering the United Service Workers Union Local 255 IUAJAT. And these are ordinances, this is first reading of ordinance, that is...
This is second reading.
Oh, this is second reading? I'm sorry. Again, I wasn't here the last meeting.
We were busy.
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Council Vice President. Second by Councilman Bahal. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Seeing none, I'll close the public portion. Any discussion from council?
I'm sorry?
Any discussion from council on this ordinance? None? Okay. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan? Yes. Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell.
Yes. Next is we have ordinance 22-22, an ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick amending ordinance 21-36, fixing the grades, classifications, and grade and compensation of employees of the Township of East Brunswick, covering the Professional Managers Association, the PMA, and executive staff and confidential employees. Can I get a motion on this ordinance?
So moved.
I'll take the motion from Councilwoman Sullivan, and second by Council Vice President McAvoy. Thank you, sir. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Seeing none, I'll close the public portion. Any council discussion on this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan? Yes. Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell.
Yes. Next, we move on to ordinance 22-23, an ordinance amending ordinance 22-05, fixing compensation for temporary, part-time, and seasonal employees for the year 2023. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Council Vice President.
Second.
Second by Councilman Bahal. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Seeing none, I'll close the public portion. Any council discussion on this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki.
Yes.
And Council President Wendell.
Yes. Next, we move on to ordinance 22-24, a bond ordinance providing for various road improvements in and by the Township of East Brunswick in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, appropriating $2,200,000 therefore, and authorizing issuance of $2,090,000 worth of bonds or notes on the township to finance part of the cost thereof. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Councilwoman Zambicki and Council Vice President. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Seeing none, I'll close the public portion. Any discussion from council on this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hall.
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan. Councilwoman Zambicki.
Yes.
And Council President Wendell.
Yes. Next, we move on to ordinance 22-25, a capital ordinance in and by the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $1,607,500 for various road improvement projects for the year 2023. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Zambicki. Can I get a
Second.
Second by Councilman Bahal. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this? Seeing none, I'll close the public portion. I just want, these last two ordinances were capital improvement projects for road pavement for the year of 2023, correct? So we can go out
Yes.
to bid now.
Soon as they get the plans ready, yes.
Correct, that's what I'm saying. Get moving early, as we've
Whitehall,
done in the past.
Titus
Probably January.
are two main ones, yes.
Certainly. I just wanted to point that out, that these are road improvement projects for next year that are part of our capital improvement. And
So.
I appreciate everything that engineering and your staff does to get these things done early.
The clerk's office will advertise, should be in the paper by Thursday or Friday, 20-day estoppel period. So it brings us to the end of the month, so hopefully January or so, we'll have the bid packages out.
Perfect.
Could you just explain the difference of these two?
Share your mic, Peter.
Can you please just explain the difference between 22-24 and 22-25?
Yeah, one is a bond ordinance, we're actually going to bond for it.
Okay.
The other one is a capital ordinance, which is just declaring it as a capital project.
Okay,
Two different things.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions from council? Seeing none? Ms. Loeffel, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Hall.
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki.
Yes.
And Council President Wendell.
Yes. Next, we move on to ordinance 22-26, an ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 209 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Section 209-52, Schedule 13, Stop Intersections to add a stop sign on Pearl Road and Peggy Road.
So moved.
All right, motion by Council Vice President McAvoy, and a second by Councilwoman Sullivan. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. Any discussions from council on this? This was based on a recommendation from traffic safety, correct?
It was actually a request from residents that were living there, and then the traffic safety went out and did the investigation and agreed with the residents.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that we're just not doing it arbitrarily and that traffic safety and staff is looking at all of these things. Any other discussion from council? Seeing none, Ms. Loeffel, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hall.
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki.
Yes.
And Council President Wendell.
We now move on to ordinance 22-27, an ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick adding Chapter 101, filming agreements to the revised general ordinances of the Township of East Brunswick. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Can I get a second? Thank you, Councilman Bahal. Can we get a little discussion on this? Just some background?
Mike, you want to take this?
Sure.
Before we open to the public. I just
Sure.
want-
The mayor wants to talk to.
Over the past couple of years, there have been a number of requests to do filming, movies, TV shows, commercial filming in our town and in other towns. And we really didn't have a program set up for getting people's, to submit names, contact person, insurance policies, the things that our police department would need to know if they're going to be out providing services, traffic, and those sorts of things. Put it together with the state's efforts, which is to encourage filming. We can expect more of that to happen in New Jersey. I know there are programs that the governor and the
Recently, yeah.
is promoting. And this is just a chance to get it organized for the clerk, us, public safety, to know who's in town and who's doing filming.
So we're being a little proactive.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, do you have something
I
to
was
say?
just going to add that the governor has made a major effort to bring the film industry to New Jersey. And one of those things is a massive tax incentive to film industry, I think almost a 30%, 35% tax incentive to come as long as you are within a 30-mile radius of Columbus Circle, which actually takes us to part of East Brunswick, not all of it. Why Columbus Circle, don't ask me, but for some reason, I think it has to do with union labor and the distance to attract people to, and New Jersey as a state, it's a little less expensive than New York. We have a lot of talent here. We're close to all the major centers, transportation. So there's a huge effort to bring the film industry here, and it's a benefit to the towns that do adapt to some of those requests, because they bring whole film crews in, which means they're going to use hotels and they're going to use our restaurants and they're going to support the services that we already have here in the township. So this is an attempt to try to mirror what the Film Commission has suggested would be a ordinance that you could put in place that they have recommended is the type of things that film industry is looking for when they want to find a town receptive to that business.
And one of the interesting things is, we're not saying you have to use our agreement. We're saying, give us your agreement, we'll work with it. This is the information we need from you.
Right. All right. Thank you. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 22-27? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. Any council questions or discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hall,
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki, and
Yes.
Council President Wendell.
Yes.
Thank you.
Lastly, we move on to ordinance 22-28, an ordinance amending Chapter 3, Administration of Government, Section 118.1, Schedule of Fees for Mayor Services of the Township of East Brunswick. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Can we get a second? Councilman Bahal? Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Seeing none, I'll close the public portion. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hall,
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki,
Yes.
and Council President Wendell.
Yes.
Thank you.
Would you please make the public comment statement? That's our next,
Yeah, sure.
did I miss something?
Reports?
Oh, reports.
That
Sorry.
double-sided thing.
I flipped the page too quickly. I was like, okay, we're done with ordinances. Yeah, we're going to move on to our reports section. I apologize. Mr. Mayor?
First, Council President, thank you. I wanted to alert the public that we found out last week that we are getting almost $500,000 in transportation trust fund money to be used to do an overlay on Tices. I know a lot of the public had been asking for a long time when we're doing and redoing or repaving Tices. Clearly, we all know it needs to be done. This overlay is going to be for the portions of Tices Lane that are not already going to be part of redevelopment agreements that we've signed previously with Hidden Oaks and with the Tices Lane project. That's going to be done by the developer. This is going towards the rest of Tices Lane, and whatever that difference comes to, the town will make up. It's probably going to be a little more than the $500,000 that we're getting from the state. But if we're already going out and doing it, we want to just do the whole thing. So that's part of the ordinance that you approved just a couple of seconds ago. That's also going to come on the backs of the $375,000 that we were informed last year that we're getting to do Whitehall. So our intention is in 2023 to do both roads, along with our regular paving program, which is roughly the $2 million that you approved. The other thing I wanted to point out that on the agenda tonight under resolutions is a arrangement for a sister city in Israel, in Yavne, Israel. For those that don't know, we already have two sister cities. We signed one well before the pandemic in China, and they came out here. We visited them. It actually proved to be a beneficial sister city arrangement because evidently during the COVID lockdown, as most of you may recall, it was pretty difficult to get PPE. But our friends in China were sending it to us pretty regularly. Our first responders in the police department never were without PPE. And a good portion of that was from some of the efforts on our sister city in China to get that sent to us when we needed it the most. So that worked out. I think clearly we know that the relationship between the U.S. and China is strained right now, so that has not been something that we've been pursuing till we feel that that's probably an easier thing to work with China. We also signed one a couple of months ago, as you recall, with Ravna, Ukraine, and we are still continuing to help aid in providing supplies to Ukraine through that sister city relationship. We're kind of hoping that when things settle down a bit in the Ukraine, that we could start doing the things that we would hope to do with the sister city relation, and that is the student exchange and the business exchange and the commerce that comes with a sister city. Likewise, Yavne is a biblical city in Israel. It's a little south of Tel Aviv. It's about 55,000 people live there, so it's about the same size as us. It dates back to 2,000 years before Christ, so it makes them a little bit older than us. But that was a joke. They're actually, after the fall of the Second Temple, in the year 70 from the Romans, Jews went into what they call diaspora, left most of the area, but those that stayed in Yavne, and that's why it became the resurgence of Judaism in the Holy Land was started and still remains in Yavne. Our goal, like with all the other sister cities, is to develop a dialogue among our children. I think that there's a lot of overlap, specifically not only with our public schools, but we actually have a Hebrew charter school in East Brunswick, which is a public school. There's a lot of areas of technology and expertise that both of us have core strengths in, whether that is food technology, autonomous vehicles, water technology and conservation, security, are all areas where I think there's a lot of room for us to share a dialogue and gain from that experience. So our intention, we've been invited to send two people, myself and someone of my choice. It's going to be our Economic Development Officer, Robert Zuckerman, since he helped push this and get this arrangement to the fruition, but we were invited to their version of the League of Municipalities in Israel, which is going to be next week, to actually officially sign the sister city relationship. The country's not done one in many years because they want it to be a meaningful type of relationship, not something that just shows up on Wikipedia. A couple weeks ago, they signed one with Jersey City, and that was the first one, I think, in over a decade, and we're going to be the second. So I'm pretty excited about that, and I think it will be something that we could all be proud of and use that as an example as we look to others, because I believe that a lot of foreign policy starts at a very granular level. Most of us have so much more in common than we have apart, and these are ways of us developing bonds with other people who share similar interests in different places, and I think that can be a lesson and work its way up the chain versus way foreign policy usually works, which is from the top down. So I'm really excited about this, and I'm hoping you all approve that, because otherwise I'm going to have to exchange my tickets and not go. So, but it's exciting, and I look forward to your support.
We are excited about it, and I'm happy, proud of all the relationships that you are forging with these different cities around the world.
Thank you.
Mr. Administrator,
Yes, just one item this evening. I just want to remind the public that, yes, we know the leaves have fell off your trees, and yes, we are out picking up leaves. Naturally, the bagged leaves are a little bit quicker to pick up, so we are able to get them, and we also have a contract with the waste company to aid us with that as well. But the loose leaves do take us some time. We started on November 15th, picking them up. So you got to give us some time. All the leaves kind of fell at once, but we will get around to every road, and we will do multiple passes. But please be patient with us in retrieving the loose leaves. The contractor has done a good job with picking up the bag leaves. It's, just the fact. And we'll get to it, and just be patient. That's all, sir.
and I'd just like to add to that, everyone should be mindful of the schedule that is posted on the township website as to when to put their leaves out at the street.
Yeah,
As to
the
not
schedule
put
on
them
the
out too
township
early.
website is really just for bagged leaves. It's a little bit easier for us to predict when we can get to them. But with the loose leaves, it just really depends upon volume and then getting it to the facility to drop them off. Sometimes we go down one street and the truck is full, which means then we got to get over to the site to dump it and come back. So once again, just be patient with us. The staff is working as fast and as safe as they humanly possible.
And, ideally, they're, weather permitting, working 6 days a week and things of that nature. I know we tend to put in time, overtime during this season
Yeah.
with the staff. So they're doing everything they can. So, thank you. Township Attorney?
Nothing official. I just want to say, I travel on Fern Road 2 or 3 times a day, and I'm still amazed at what a nice job was done on the paving of that. So publicly wanted to thank our staff and everyone involved in that.
You shouldn't be amazed. They do a good job all the time.
That's correct, Joe. I stand corrected.
Ooh, that was a little swift.
I was amazed at how nice it was, not that they did a good job.
Township Clerk?
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report. Any council members, committee or board reports? No? Seeing none? We will move on to, now we're going to turn the page.
Yes.
Can we read the public comment statement?
Certainly. The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. In accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the East Brunswick Rules of Council, the council asks the public to limit their comments to 5 minutes or less. The public may use this opportunity to question any item listed on the consent agenda and request that such item be removed from the consent agenda to be discussed and voted on separately. Only one member of the public should approach to speak to council at a time. The council will respect the public's time by refraining from any comment until the speaker has finished with their allotted time. It should be further noted that public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. At the conclusion of the statements or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his discretion, may choose to respond or not respond, or to ask administration to respond. If the questions require more detailed responses, the council president or administration may ask a member of the public to make an appointment with the appropriate township official during regular business hours. The township clerk will regulate the time during the comment portion of our meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Lawful. Anyone from the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, I will close the public portion. We're going to move on to Resolution 1543, a resolution accepting the retirement of Karen Murphy as the Executive Administrator Assistant to the Water and Sewer Utility Division for the Township of East Brunswick. Can I get a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Can we get a second? Second by Councilman Bahal. Would you please call the roll? And then we're going to have Councilman McAvoy, or Council Vice President McAvoy, read this into the record.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell?
Yes. Council Vice President?
Resolution honoring and accepting the retirement of Kara Murphy as the Executive Administrative Assistant to the Water and Sewer Utility Division for the Township of East Brunswick. Whereas Kara Murphy has submitted written notification to the Township of East Brunswick that she will retire from the Water and Safety Utility Division effective December 1, 2022. And whereas in November 1996, Kara Murphy began her employment with the Township of East Brunswick as the Secretary to the Planning and Engineering Department. She later assumed the position of Executive Secretary for the Department of Public Works in December 2016. She was then promoted to Executive Administrative Assistant for Water and Sewer Utility Division in January 2020, a position from which she will retire. And whereas throughout her 26 years of service to the township, she demonstrated exemplary characteristics to the Township of East Brunswick through her work ethics, her dedication, leadership, team spirit, and enthusiasm to her duties. Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of East Brunswick that Kara Murphy's retirement is hereby accepted with an effective date of December 1, 2022, and be it further resolved that the Mayor and the Township Council of the Township of East Brunswick do hereby extend their sincere, grateful appreciation to Kara Murphy for her 26 years of dedication and outstanding service to the Township of East Brunswick, and congratulate her on her well-earned retirement and wish her much happiness and good health in the years to come. This is certified that it is a true and compared copy of the resolution adopted by the municipal government of the Township of East Brunswick on November 28, 2022, signed James Wendell, Council President, Brad Cohen, Mayor, Tamar Lawful, Township Clerk. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you so much. We're going to move on to our consent agenda. We have Resolution 17544 through Resolution 17553. Would anyone from council like anything separated?
Yes, I just had,
Go right ahead.
I didn't. 17549 and 17550.
Okay.
Already spoke with Mr. Crisculo. He'll clarify
All right.
for the
Anyone else want anything separated?
community.
Seeing
If I
none.
can, Council President?
Yeah.
These two resolutions are just so important with regard to our township, the county, the state, the nation. We're talking about recognizing the abuse of alcohol and drugs, which is a serious problem in our society amongst persons of all ages, and therefore has established this Municipal Alliance Committee. I asked to get it pulled so that we could have more clarification on exactly what's going on here, because it is paramount to ensuring the well-being of the members of our community. Mr. Crisculo?
Sure.
Well, I mean, do you want to discuss these now?
And then you can move the whole agenda if
Then
you
we
wish,
then we
sir.
don't have to pull them?
Yeah.
We can move them without pulling them if we get the discussion first?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine, sure.
Yeah, they're just very important grant applications that we work with the county and our state partners regarding exactly what the councilman just mentioned. There's been money's been allocated for different types of programs, and the one 17549 is for I want to get the right title here, the Youth Leadership Fund. This is to work with the Alliance and the peer groups and the Youth Council and so on, basically really to keep them on the right track. We bring in some programs for them, some education partners from various professional services and talk about things and so on. So this certainly is an application. There's been recently on, I believe it's on Hulu, a show called Dope Sick. And we're going to partner with the library to have a book discussion group with that book as being the topic of conversation, where they're actually, it's a very long book, much more in detail than the movie itself. But we're going to partner with the library and the Youth Council and other educational areas for adults and kids that want to be in a book group discussion, purchase books, have them read it, not just the movie. The book is much more impactful than the actual movie, although it was played it's a good movie as well. So the second one is another grant application, and the reason why it appears here, we have a cash match with this of $4,656.75 to be specific, that the council has to, and this is once again to apply for the grant. So we get the $18,627. We have a matching a part of that. So we hopefully will get this money from the state. This organization in the township started with Jen Stetson when she was over in that department, now the director of HR, and she continues to work with that program. And it's just to continue our recognition that there is situations where drug and alcohol is abused, and we'd like to help people. And it's a fantastic way to do it. Our team does such a good job. If you recall, back in September, we got additional funds because some other towns didn't use their money. And when Jen came to me and said, we can get some additional money because the other towns didn't utilize theirs, I said, sure, take it. We'll roll out another program for the community. But thank you for pointing that out, Council Vice President, I appreciate that.
And these are both grant applications.
Sure, to
We're authorizing
apply
an
for them.
application
Right.
to apply for the grant.
Right.
I've been on the committee for 3 years, and I have to say, Jennifer Stetson has been wonderful bringing it all in. She gives us the ideas, but lets us run with the ideas, and the community, especially Youth Council, couldn't be happier of all the stuff that we do for them.
Fantastic.
Kudos.
All right, so since we had discussion on this, Council Vice President, you're okay with adding
Yes,
these to
thank you,
the
Council President.
consent agenda? So now I'm looking for a motion for Resolution 17544 to 17553.
So moved.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Can we get a
Second. Second.
Second by Councilman Bahal. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we have 3 ordinances for introduction. These will be heard at the next regular meeting, which is the 12th. Okay, can we get a motion for ordinance 22-29, ordinance amending Chapter 228 zoning, Section 226 of the Township of East Brunswick to correct the language on who is authorized to issue a fence permit. Motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sullivan.
Second.
Second by Council Vice President McAvoy. Any discussion on this? Seeing none? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell?
Yes. Now we move on to ordinance 22-30, an ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick Feast. I'm sorry. Township of East Brunswick amended Chapter 3, Administration of Government, Section 83, Parking Utility of the revised general ordinances of the Township of East Brunswick. Mr. Crispilla, can we get a little... Oh, okay.
I'll do that.
Okay.
There have been some vandalism and some security issues at our parking decks. In order to get a better handle on that, we've been working with our parking utility director, the police department, and my office and Mr. Quiscolo to set some limitations on operating hours when the lobbies will be closed and those sorts of things. We hope this will cut down on the vandalism issues and
This also,
security.
I mean, I've had a lot of residents contact me about things going on.
About vandalism.
Yes, okay. Okay, great. Can we get a motion on this ordinance?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Zabicki.
Second.
Second, Councilman Bahal. Please call the roll.
Councilman Hall?
Yes.
Hall? Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now we have ordinance 22-31, an ordinance providing a supplemental appropriation of $260,000 for road improvements in and by the Township of East Brunswick in the County of Middlesex, New Jersey. Can we get a little background on this, Mr. Criscuolo?
Yeah, this is just modifying a capital ordinance that we did in the past, as you know,
Is there a specific location for this?
Fern Road,
Okay.
the nice paved road that we did over there.
Wonderful.
But, naturally, things got more expensive, and, we're working with the county now with that light on the corner of Fern and Cranberry. So we're hoping to bring that wonderfulness right up to Cranberry Road.
There you go. Thank you. Can we get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sullivan. Second by Councilwoman Zambicki.
Yes.
All right. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, that gets us to the end of our agenda. Do we have anything for the good of the cause? Anyone have anything for the good of the cause? Yes, Vice President.
Thank you, Council President. Holiday movie night, arts and crafts, fire pits, giveaways, hot chocolate, cookies. Yummy, yummy.
I'm in.
Right? 6 o'clock. Sing-along, lighting of a menorah and the Christmas tree. North Pole guest is going to arrive, not sure exactly who that is. These are notes from my wife. Sponsored by EB Parks and Rec. It's a tradition. It goes back quite a few years and still alive and well. As a matter of fact, Mayor Cohen's going to be out of town, so I'm going to be your master of ceremonies, so you definitely don't want to miss this one. My attempt at humor. And that's on Sunday, the 4th. That's this coming Sunday. Again, the Holiday of Lights celebration will begin at 5:15. And I want to add some more to the thanks to the Public Works Department for their pre-Thanksgiving collection of roadside leaves, making curbside parking easy for families and their guests as they arrived. And they were out in my neighborhood again today, and it's just been constant. Mr. Criscuolo has started off the conversation. I echoed that, and Council President Wendell echoed it too, that the amount of work that these men and women are doing to keep the community clean is, we want to make sure we recognize that. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Anyone else for the good of the cause? Yes,
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki.
And hopefully, everybody picked up their gingerbread houses today as they were distributed from the Arts Coalition and the East Brunswick Education Association, something that we started 3 years ago during COVID as an activity that could be done at home, and it's remained such a popular event. We continue to sponsor it, and families can purchase their own if they weren't able to get it and take part in the creating of their house and posting it for judging, and the families will win a lovely prize. So we're looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. I wasn't aware when I saw that on Facebook that it was EBEA. It was one of the major sponsors of that. So thank you so much to you and your people.
Thank
that
you. We're
get that
also
done.
making sure Mr. McAvoy gets plenty of cookies and hot chocolate. Why not?
Wonderful partners in the community.
There you go. Anyone else from council that has anything for the good of the cause? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Thank you, Councilwoman Zambicki. Second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Bahal. All in favor? Signify by saying aye. Thank you so much.
Safe traffic.